Connections between infections, including oral viral infections and others, and neurodegenerative diseases, insights from recent studies. Recent research has increasingly explored the potential links between infections, such as viral, bacterial, fungal, and parasitic infections, and the development or progression of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and ALS. Studies have focused on how infections, particularly those that are chronic or latent, may contribute to neurodegeneration through mechanisms such as neuroinflammation, protein misfolding, and immune system dysregulation. Below is a summary of the latest findings and what they reveal about these connections. The relationship between infections, viral, bacterial, fungal, or parasitic, and neurodegenerative diseases, e.g., Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS, has been a growing area of research. Recent studies suggest that infections, particularly chronic or latent ones, may contribute to the development or progression of neurodegenerative diseases through mechanisms such as neuroinflammation, protein misfolding, and immune dysregulation. Below is a detailed overview of the most recent findings and their implications. 1. Viral infections and neurodegeneration. Viruses, particularly those that can establish latent or persistent infections in the nervous system, have been strongly implicated in neurodegenerative diseases. Herpes simplex virus, HSV, and Alzheimer's disease. Recent findings. HSV-1, oral herpes, has been detected in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, particularly in regions affected by amyloid plaques and tau tangles. HSV-1 reactivation in the brain may trigger neuroinflammation, amyloid accumulation, and tau hyperphosphorylation. A 2022 study published in Nature Communications found that HSV-1 infection increases the expression of genes associated with Alzheimer's pathology. Mechanisms. Neuroinflammation. HSV-1 activates microglia and astrocytes, leading to chronic inflammation. Protein misfolding. Viral proteins may interact with cellular proteins, promoting amyloid and tau aggregation. Oxidative stress. HSV-1 infection increases ROS production, damaging neurons. Other viruses, e.g., Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus. Recent findings. Epstein-Barr virus, EBV, has been linked to multiple sclerosis, MS, and may also play a role in other neurodegenerative diseases. Cytomegalovirus, CMV, has been associated with accelerated cognitive decline in the elderly. Mechanisms. Immune dysregulation. Chronic viral infections alter the immune system, leading to autoimmunity or chronic inflammation. Molecular mimicry. Viral proteins may mimic host proteins, triggering an immune response against neurons. 2. Bacterial infections and neurodegeneration. Chronic bacterial infections, particularly those involving the oral cavity or gut, have been linked to neurodegenerative diseases. Periodontal disease and Alzheimer's disease. Recent findings. Porphyromonas gingivalis, a bacterium associated with periodontal disease, has been detected in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. A 2019 study in Science Advances found that P. gingivalis produces gingipains, proteases that contribute to amyloid accumulation and neuroinflammation. Mechanisms. Chronic inflammation. Periodontal bacteria trigger systemic inflammation, which can cross the blood-brain barrier, BBB. Amyloid production. Bacterial toxins may stimulate amyloid production as a defense mechanism. Gut microbiota and Parkinson's disease. Recent findings. Dysbiosis, imbalance in gut microbiota, has been observed in Parkinson's patients. A 2023 study in Cell Reports found that gut bacteria can produce Curli proteins, which promote synuclein aggregation in the gut and brain. Mechanisms. Gut-brain axis. Gut bacteria can influence brain health through the vagus nerve and systemic inflammation. Protein aggregation. Bacterial products may seed the misfolding of synuclein, which then spreads to the brain. 3. Fungal and parasitic infections. While less studied, fungal and parasitic infections have also been implicated in neurodegeneration. Candida albicans. Recent findings. Candida infections have been associated with cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's-like pathology in animal models. A 2023 study in Nature Neuroscience found that Candida can cross the BBB and induce amyloid production. Mechanisms: neuroinflammation. Fungal infections activate microglia and astrocytes. Amyloid as an antimicrobial peptide. Amyloid may be produced in response to fungal infections, but its accumulation becomes toxic over time. Toxoplasma gondii. Recent findings. Chronic toxoplasma infection has been linked to neurodegenerative diseases, including Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. A 2022 study in PLOS pathogens found that toxoplasma infection increases synuclein aggregation in the brain. Mechanisms: chronic inflammation. Persistent infection leads to sustained immune activation. Dopaminergic neuron damage. Toxoplasma preferentially infects dopaminergic neurons, which are critical in Parkinson's disease. 4. Mechanisms linking infections to neurodegeneration. Several common mechanisms have been identified across different types of infections. Neuroinflammation. Infections activate microglia and astrocytes, leading to chronic inflammation and neuronal damage. Pro-inflammatory cytokines, e.g., Illinois 1-beta, TNF, disrupt neuronal function and promote protein misfolding. Protein misfolding and aggregation. Pathogens or their products, e.g., viral proteins, bacterial toxins, can induce the misfolding of host proteins like amyloid, tau, and synuclein. Misfolded proteins can spread in a prion-like manner, propagating neurodegeneration. Oxidative stress. Infections increase ROS production, damaging neurons and mitochondrial DNA. Oxidative stress exacerbates protein misfolding and neuroinflammation. Immune dysregulation. Chronic infections alter the immune system, leading to autoimmunity or impaired clearance of protein aggregates. Molecular mimicry between pathogen and host proteins can trigger an immune response against neurons. 5. Therapeutic implications. Recent studies suggest that targeting infections could be a promising strategy for preventing or treating neurodegenerative diseases. Antiviral, antibacterial therapies. Clinical trials are investigating the use of antiviral drugs, e.g., valacyclovir for HSV, and antibiotics, e.g., doxycycline for P. gingivalis, in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients. Anti-inflammatory therapies. Drugs that reduce neuroinflammation, e.g., NSAIDs, biologics targeting cytokines, are being explored. Probiotics and fecal microbiota transplantation, FMT. Modulating the gut microbiota may help reduce synuclein aggregation and inflammation in Parkinson's disease. Conclusion. Recent research highlights a strong link between infections, viral, bacterial, fungal, or parasitic, and neurodegenerative diseases. Chronic infections contribute to neurodegeneration through mechanisms like neuroinflammation, protein misfolding, oxidative stress, and immune dysregulation. Targeting these infections or their downstream effects could open new avenues for preventing or treating diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and ALS. However, more research is needed to fully understand these relationships and develop effective therapies.